All right, so we have our game, and our game now, I can increase the score by clicking the ball gets faster. If I miss it, I lose a life, and if I get to 0 lives, the game is over. Now, we want to add a way to restart our game, right? So now, the simplest would be to say, hey, if you click the screen after the game is over, we can restart. But we have to talk about what does restart mean. So when we started the game, how many lives did we have? What was our score? What was the speed of the ball, right? These are all things that were true at the beginning of the game, okay? So what, where do we put that, right? So those are the things that are true at the beginning of the game. So that's what it means to restart. We have to reset all of those in order for us to be able to play. But when should we do that? Well, first off, we should do that with a mouse press because we want to be able to click the screen with some sort of interaction from the user. So we know we're going to build something inside of mouse pressed, right? And then what we need to do is we need to know when do we click the mouse do we want this to happen. Because if I just come down here and say, okay, I know when I click the mouse, we know we're going to put some code down here for what does the game restart look like. So we know things that we're going to need to do are going to be, we're going to need to set our lives to be 5 again, if that's what we started with. And we need to set our score to be 0 again, right? And we know we're going to need to set the speed to be slow again because we don't want to start super fast. So we know that. But right now, if I just leave this like this, what's going to happen? Every time we click the mouse, we're going to ask the question, did we click the ball or did we miss? And then we're going to do all of this code that is underneath our if and our else. So if I run this now and I click the ball, nothing changes. And if I miss the ball, nothing changes, because what's happening is as soon as I miss the ball and I decrease lives by 1, I now set lives to be 5. So we don't want this to happen every time we click the mouse, right? We need this to only happen when what? When the game is over. So we want all of this to happen only if the game is over. So how do I ask, is the game over? So how do I ask, is the game over yet? Well, we already established that, right? Because up here, we know this question asks, is the game over? If the game is over, do this stuff. So I can do the same thing here. I can say, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this right here. If lives is less than 1, the game is over. So then do this stuff that's inside these curly braces. I'm just going to tab this in. You can highlight several lines at the same time and hit tab, and they all go in. So now if the game is over and I click, this will happen. So now when I click and I miss, my lives go down again, just like I should expect. My score goes up, just like I should expect. Now if I miss, oh wait, what just happened? I'm going to get some score on here. All right, now I missed a few times. As soon as I got to 0 lives, everything reset. What gives? Well, let's think about what's happening here. So that as soon as I miss, when my lives are 1, as soon as I miss one more time, I ask the question, did I hit the ball? If not, subtract 1 from lives. So as soon as I miss, lives are now 0. So when I get to line 49, I say, hey, if lives is less than 1 and 0 is less than 1, then do all of these things. So it immediately sets it back. Order matters. It might be better if rather than put this after I determine whether I hit the ball or not, I put this before I hit the ball, or before I ask that question. So if I cut this out and I move it up here, now when I do it, let's see what happens. Let's see if that fixes things. So a lot of the programming is kind of playing and thinking about the order and the logic of things. Woo! Game is over. Now click one more time. Wait. I forgot. We still have no loop running. Well, to make no loop stop running, we need to run loop. And what this will do, this will call the draw function. So you'll notice I'm doing this right here. You know what? I'm going to show you the mistake we made the other day in class first. We put it first, and that causes things to not work either. But we'll show you how that makes it not work. Great. Now click one more time. Did you see it move? I thought I saw. Yeah, there we go. It moved. What is going on there? So what's going on there is as soon as we run the loop function, we call draw. So even though we wanted to set all of these things to be these cases, as soon as we run this, we leave this immediately, we run up to draw. So we need to not put this there, but put this at the bottom so that we will be what we need. So now if I run it, now we're set. I'm going to press one more time. Hey, but I'm at 4 lives. What gives? Watch what happens if I click the ball to start over. Now I'm at a score of 1, but I have 5 lives. What is going on? Again, what's happening is, as soon as I click the mouse, all of the rest of this is in play. Okay? All of the rest of this is in play. So I can fix that one problem by adding one new idea. So we have this idea of if and else, but there's another idea that we can use. Okay, I'm going to jump in the P5 reference, and we're going to take a look and see if we can find where is you know what, it might not actually be in the P5 reference, because if is built into JavaScript, if is not built into P5, so we might not actually find it in the P5 reference. Oh, what's that? If else. All right, but I'm looking for another idea. Okay, that idea is not in the reference. So not everything is in the reference because some things are built into JavaScript itself, and so they're not in the P5 JavaScript reference. And the idea I want to look at is called if else. So what we can do is here, rather than making this an if, we're going to make this an else if. So let me explain what's going on here. We originally had this as an if. So we said if this question is true, do what's inside these curly braces. If this question is false, do what's inside these curly braces. Well, we can actually string multiple conditions together by using else if. So now what this does is this says ask this question first. So ask, is the game over? Remember, asking if lives is less than 1 is asking, is the game over? So if the game is over, reset the game. If the game is not over, then we're going to check to see whether I hit the ball. But I only check to see whether I hit the ball if the game is not over. If the game is over, I don't check to see whether I hit the ball. Okay, so let's run that again. Great. Now, if I click one more time, score is 0, lives are 5. Now, we want to make sure we help the user out. So rather than just say game over, we might also add a second line. Click to restart. Now we got to give it some coordinates. So I'm going to give it the same X coordinate, and I'm going to put it somewhere down below for the Y coordinate. So now we'll give ourselves some score. And then we will lose the game, and we can say click to restart. And now we'll even notice if I click the ball, it's still a score 0. Now, the problem with just a click anywhere on the screen to restart is that if you're tapping away madly, clicking away madly because you're trying to catch that ball, you might inadvertently click and restart the game without realizing that the game was over. So we want to think about how we will fix that. And to fix that, we want to see if we can create a button. So what I want you to do now is, this video is going to end, I want you to create a restart button if you haven't already done that, so that we can then restart the game. And again, this is easier than you think it is. Literally, don't Google how do I create a button. Draw a rectangle. You know how to draw a rectangle, right? Put some text on it that says click to restart. That will imply that I need to click the rectangle. And then you're going to ask a question, did I click that rectangle? If only we had thought about how we do that before, like maybe how do we click this ball? So we could think in a similar way to how we click the ball to how we click the rectangle. So I want you to do that right now.